You carry.
What's the Bruce Willis's name in Die Hard? You've never seen Die Hard?
No, I've seen Die Hard. I just don't pay attention to the names. I thought his name was Bruce Willis.
John McClane. All right. As John McClane once said, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Cowboy Jack O'Hara is here with basic bitch Steve Teshk, and we are here to review far down the line. You are a basic bitch and you know it. We are reviewing the far down the line WrestleMania 42 and WrestleMania 43 match card predictions. Steve, like the basic bitch that you are, my friend, you're sipping on your basic bitch glass of water. You have your basic bitch WrestleMania match card predictions all written out on your notepad.
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we think?
All right. I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna do the entire match card. I will do both nights' main events.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay.
I am down for. I don't think any of us could predict what the Intercontinental Championship match is going to be on night 2 of WrestleMania. We are not nearly close to.
I could do that for 42. I could do that for 42. I just don't want to. I think there's more conversation in the 2 main events for actually the 4 main events, men's and women's. That's the way I'm looking at this. Okay.
All right.
So for WrestleMania 42, night 1, I think the main event is Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker.
You think that's the main event?
Wow. I think that's the main event. I think the world title will probably kick off the show. Somehow we get into a situation where the WWE... Listen, there is no way the world title is ever going to be the main event of night 2. The WWE... I don't think so. Unless it's blended with the WWE Undisputed Championship, there is no way the world title is the main event of night 2 of any WrestleMania.
I think if the story is good enough, it could be.
I will be very surprised. But point being is, I think the main event of night 1, Brock Lesnar is not a show opener. I'm sorry. Brock Lesnar is not a show opener for a WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar is a finisher. And honestly, like, I know we've seen some times where he's been in the middle of the card just because the story deemed it needable, but I don't see any story in the next 6 to 8 months that is bigger than Brock Lesnar returning to WrestleMania after 8 years, 6 years, something like that. So right now I look at this as Braun Breaker. We've always seen the seeds planted. We've already seen when Brock Lesnar walked out the other night and Braun Breaker is just eyeing him backstage. That is a main event caliber for a title. I can honestly see at the Royal Rumble in Saudi, because we know how much Saudi Arabia loves them some Brock Lesnar, that Brock Lesnar walks out with some form of title.
Ooh, I hope not.
No, I hope not as well, but I can see it happening just to make Saudi happy, because Brock Lesnar is their guy and has always been their guy. It's either Brock Lesnar or Goldberg or Undertaker. So I can see Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker as the main event probably of night 1. Night 2, I can see Roman, Cody, Seth as the main event as a triple threat.
How do you get to Roman, Cody, Seth for the WWE title?
The seeds are... Listen, does anyone actually believe that the draft actually exists anymore? Like, yes, no. There are people on Raw, there are people on SmackDown, but
there's no part of that I understand. I understand how all 3 of them could be in a storyline together. I just don't understand how you get one title off of Seth and have him inserted into another title picture.
Seth loses the world title at the start of Royal Rumble and wins the Royal Rumble. I don't know. Like, there's the easiest way of doing it. Seth somehow loses the title at the start of the Royal Rumble, and I'm not saying it's credible, but it could happen. Seth loses at the start of the Royal Rumble and then comes out at number 30 and wins the Rumble.
That's what Lesnar did a few years ago.
There you go. So Seth comes out and finds his way as in the main event of WrestleMania. And listen, we could run this all back to WrestleMania 39, which was the Cody. Oh no, WrestleMania 40. This is bullshit. The Las Vegas press conference. Who were the three main players next to The Rock on the stage? Seth, Cody, and Roman. And arguably the three biggest names in pro wrestling right now are Seth, Cody, and Roman.
Are you really going to put Roman and Seth in another triple threat match back-to-back years in Vegas?
Yeah, I am. Because honestly, as much as people want what 43 could potentially be in Saudi Arabia, I think the bigger match is Seth Roman at the end of their contracts at 43 to be, the finish of the Shield. Because we're never going to get Moxley back. As much as people want Roman versus Rock, and I know we're running out of time for Roman versus Rock, I think I've given up on it, personally. With how much Rock is focused on his new movie career and, the changing of the body size. Like, I'm sorry, nobody's going to believe that, 220-pound Rock is going to come back to, and
He's
that's
not
crazy.
220. He is not 220.
He looks small.
He's skinnier than what he was, but what he was just a massive freak. Now he's a little bit skinnier. He's still like he's got to be
smaller
like
than Roman. He's smaller than Roman. He's 100%.
I would say he's around the same as Roman.
Well, we can agree to disagree, but point being is I think scheduling, career style, all those kind of things, I think we've missed the opportunity for Rock versus Roman. You might disagree. But I think overall, WrestleMania 42, Night 2 main event is Rock, Roman, Cody. And then WrestleMania 43 is... WrestleMania 42 is Seth, Roman, Cody. WrestleMania 43 in Saudi, because it's got to be the biggest event ever, is going to be Seth versus Roman. And I believe they're both champions at that point. And it will be winner take all. Because both their contracts are up in 28, I believe. So, and Seth said he doesn't know if he's going to sign. So it really comes down to so many more aspects than just storyline. And they're getting to their ages where, like, we've had Roman and Seth for so long. You know what I mean? And Roman's moving into the movies. Seth is, happy to be a dad. He's done virtually everything that you need to do in professional wrestling. You know what I mean? There's nothing else Seth needs to do except main event Night 2 of WrestleMania. So those are my picks for at least the male side of things. What about you, Jack?
Okay. I know Seth Rollins himself will say, I've never main evented Night 2 of WrestleMania. If he died tomorrow, like Seth Rollins main evented WrestleMania, he cashed in his Money in the Bank contract in the most exciting main event in the history I think I've ever seen of WrestleMania. So he may have not been the marquee. His face may have not have been on the posters, and I understand it from that point of view. But you had one of the greatest main event moments in the history of WrestleMania. Fair. Besides that point, so you're going with Seth, Cody, Roman, triple threat match, main event for the WWE Championship, and you're going Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker. Is that for the world title?
Yeah, for the world title.
For the world title. And then you're going Seth versus Roman in the main event of WrestleMania 43 Night 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction based on what we're seeing right now. Just to play devil's advocate. I think we are going to get Roman versus Seth one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 42. Whether that's night 1 or night 2 is irrelevant, I think. I think we're going to see the payoff to the story that started hell. I mean, at WrestleMania 40, when Roman hit Seth in the back with the chair, what we saw at WrestleMania 41 with Heyman turning on Roman in Vegas to align with Seth Rollins a year later for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think we see that match. I think it's capable of main eventing night 2, and I wouldn't be disappointed. I feel like Cody's still their guy, though, and that he would main event night 2. I think Cody Rhodes main events. This is going to be one of those years where, like, it could main event night 1 or night 2, either one. I think we're getting Roman versus Seth for the world title, and I think we're getting Cody versus Punk for the WWE Championship. I think we're getting Cody versus Punk because I think they're going to pay off the Punk versus Rollins feud for the world title, potentially at the Royal Rumble, if not sooner. I would have been a little bit more confident with these picks if they had wrapped up the Punk Rollins feud like I was expecting them to around this time, but they're not. And
No.
I don't see them wrapping it up anytime soon in this calendar year with everything that's coming up. Crown
Can,
Jewels taken care of, Survivor Series taken care of. I don't necessarily see that happening. So I don't.
can I cut you off for a thought process for a second? Because
Yeah.
through my whole thought process of what I was saying, I've totally forgot about Punk. Um, First off, Seth versus Roman is never, in no way, shape, or form, one-on-one, a WrestleMania Night 1 main event.
Okay. So
No
I
way, shape.
would gladly make that night 2. And that's why I think the World Heavyweight Championship could main event night 2.
Fair. But you look at what we're building over the next few months, and it's crazy. We might have to do 2 videos on this because WrestleMania main event 42 is a whole conversation in itself because of everything they're building. I think everything comes down to the Rumble. And I don't say that in a sense that, oh, the Rumble is who gets to main event WrestleMania and then Elimination Chamber is the other main event. I don't believe that. I say the other significant happenings in the Rumble are going to lead to who's involved.
Okay.
Seth and Roman, I don't think can culminate there, but I think I would prefer the 42 culmination. But I think there's too many other juggernauts. Like you said in one of our previous videos, there are so many major players in Survivor Series and so many storylines. Not once have we mentioned LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu, Brock Lesnar. Like, we have not mentioned any of these people in any of these main events since we started this recording. It's all focused on basically Punk, Seth, Roman, and Lesnar.
Well, you have Lesnar Breaker main eventing.
I do have that, but now I'm rethinking things.
I think Lesnar Breaker could be a WrestleMania match one-on-one.
Yes.
I don't think it main events either night, but it could be one of the main events on the marquee.
Mm-hmm.
Or Lesnar Gunther.
Yeah, that's a stadium breaking event. But actually, both those matches are stadium breaking events. So okay, so where do you see the Roman Seth feud? Like, do we get it for another whole year? Because
to me, they've held off on it enough. I feel like since WrestleMania 41, after that whole double turn that Paul Heyman pulled off, which was magnificent, and watching that live was awesome. Probably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen live.
I hate you.
I would have argued, okay, which feud are they going to portray first? Because Rollins and Punk writes itself after this. Rollins and Reigns writes itself after this. Reigns and Punk writes itself after this. Like, there's so many stories to tell when this was supposed to kind of be a culmination of 3 guys that hated each other. Now they've opened it up to years worth of storytelling. We've seen a lot of Rollins Punk, probably too much for our liking, but it needs to culminate somewhere and it needs to culminate soon. My prediction early in the year was that they're going to fight all summer long and it's going to culminate in the fall. And then we're going to get to the culmination of Reigns versus Rollins, to finally getting a one-on-one WrestleMania main event match at WrestleMania 42. Whether that, I mean, that remains to be seen or not if they don't pull off this.
Punk Rollins kicks off Rumble in Saudi. Rollins loses to Punk. Rollins wins the Rumble. Roman somehow ends up with the WWE title from Cody. And
to me, Punk Rollins needs to culminate inside Hell in a Cell. And if they have
I
a Hell in
don't
a Cell
think-
match, I
Yeah.
don't think that one of them enters the Rumble later on in the night.
I don't think Punk wants to enter another cell match.
Unfortunately for
that
him,
Drew-
he has feuds that need to end inside Hell in a Cell.
I think the Drew, arguably, like next to Undertaker and Mankind or Mick Foley, Drew versus Punk is one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches ever. Like, please tell me if I'm wrong. That
You're
is
not. That was awesome.
Here's the thing. For me, look at Seth versus The Fiend. Okay. One of the stupidest endings to a Hell in a Cell match because it made no sense. Hell in a Cell is pinfall submission. That's it. Okay.
That was a tough era, yeah.
Okay. But you also look at Drew versus Punk, and they made Hell in a Cell for the modern era what it needed to be. It was violent. You, as a fan, you sat there and you're like, are they okay? 18 stitches to Drew's head from I'm gonna say botched move with a toolbox. Like, that man was actually hurt. He leaked. I don't think we've seen that much blood since in WWE since Austin in the sharpshooter. You know what I mean? So I don't think Punk wants to go back to that. I think for Punk, because he said in that press conference, I don't want to do Hell in a Cell. I don't want to do these matches. He's done all of them. I don't think he wants to rinse and repeat, because arguably, if you're going to go back to CM Punk's legacy of best matches, his best matches have happened in the last year. I don't want to see him have to top Drew versus Punk, because even though Drew lost that match, Punk excelled in every facet of what he didn't want to do.
Well, it has to be and I agree, that rivalry was a year-long rivalry, and it culminated in one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches, I think, ever.
Mm.
Seth versus Punk also has to culminate in a match where, like, that is it. This is the end of this feud. We are moving on, because CM Punk's been back for 2 years, Steve, and he's had 2 feuds. It needs to be like an unsanctioned match. It needs to be a ladder match. It needs to be something.
Would I quit work? In this day and age, would I quit work for this feud? Or a 1 hour Iron Man match? It would be as brutal
as Hell in a Cell, right? Like any of these matches would be.
Yeah, no, I'm just
trying to think. Of hell?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so let me turn this the other way, just slightly. Does CM Punk Seth Rollins say 3 stages of hell, or does Seth versus Roman say 3 stages of hell because of the legacy in the feud? There's 2 epic feuds that Seth has. I know you're looking from the Punk point of view, but does Seth have a bigger feud with Punk or with Roman? 3 stages of hell we never see.
He has way more of a personal bloodbath hatred for CM Punk than he does for Roman Reigns.
Yes.
He loves Roman Reigns, but he also hates Roman Reigns at the same time. They have a way more complicated relationship than Punk and Rollins. Punk and Rollins, there was animosity there before Punk returned. They squashed it backstage, I'm sure, and now they're telling an unbelievable story on camera.
Yes.
Where Roman and Seth, were brothers. They came into the business together. On screen, there's so much back and forth backstabbing that, like, to
Yeah.
me, that's a feud that we haven't even touched the surface of yet, where we've seen the Punk Rollins feud play out over the past year, and it needs to end. It needs that vicious ending where Roman and Seth, to me, is just getting started. That could be a
So-
one-on-one match for a title.
So 43 then.
42.
Roman and Seth, 42.
Roman and Seth, 42. I think Punk Rollins maybe wraps up at the Rumble.
Okay. So, wow. We, Jesus, we've gone through so many scenarios right now. So, okay. So we've got.
So here's what I have for WrestleMania 42.
Please do.
Roman versus Seth, main eventing night 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. They don't take the title off of Rollins until then, or maybe not even then. Maybe Rollins beats Reigns in the main event. I don't know.
Wow.
Main event of night 1 is Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. And I think there's going to be twists and turns in that match. I don't think it's going to be as simple as babyface versus babyface for the title. I think there's been too many teases over the last 2 years of those two having a big match, and I think we're finally going to get it. Whether Reigns wins the Royal Rumble and Punk wins the Elimination Chamber, or Punk wins the Rumble and Reigns wins the Elimination Chamber, I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm going to say in the main event, I think WrestleMania 43 is going to be the most overstacked card we've ever seen at WrestleMania.
Yes.
I think it's going to be the most overstacked card we've ever seen in the history of wrestling. I think there's going to be matches on that card that deserve to main event night 1 or night 2, and they're going to be in the mid card. I think they're going to find a way to throw enough money at people to pull off the biggest marquee we've ever seen in the history of WrestleMania. I don't know if the matches are going to deliver, but I think I definitely think WrestleMania 43 is the last opportunity for Roman versus Rock, just because of the amount of money that both TKO and Saudi Arabia is going to throw at Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Dwayne Johnson said, like, literally like a month ago that his focus is on movies. I mean, he's slimmed down specifically to do more method acting. But if they're going to throw a massive bag at him and he's the head of the board for TKO, of course he's going to come back. And there's only one story to be told. It is Rock versus Roman. I don't want to see Rock versus Cody, dude. I think we've seen it. We've seen it enough. We've seen it play out. You know? Rock got his lick on night 1. Cody got it back on night 2.
Yeah.
Rock turned Cena. There's enough there for Rock versus Cody to always be a feud and for it to not be a match. Rock versus Roman, I think that is the night where you culminate that whole bloodline story with those two going at it. I also think at WrestleMania 43, if they're throwing out the bag, that could be the night we see the match we never thought we were going to see. And at this point, I don't know if it's going to be good, but we might see it. And that is CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think there's enough money to be thrown around to have Steve be like, hell, I can't say no to this, and gets in good enough shape to face CM Punk, and that would main event one of the nights at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. I just think it's going to be one of those events that they are going to bring back. It is going to be the true lean on the legends type WrestleMania, as opposed to focusing on the future. And I just think that's because of where they're at and how much money is going to be involved.
I agree on that side, like the money being involved, but like it's just so hard for me to believe that if Steve Austin would not leave Nevada to go to Philly for
That's different. That's an appearance. He didn't want to make an appearance.
The appearance was one of the most important moments in WrestleMania history. Like,
would it have been an important moment in Stone Cold Steve Austin's life, though?
Yeah, but is CM Punk versus Austin really that important?
I think that'd be a match he'd come back for a shit ton of money, yes.
One interview with JR that people...
Oh, it goes beyond that. Steve and Phil, I feel like, are really good friends.
Yeah, I just don't see the importance of it. Like, granted,
it's
I've
no
seen
different than MJF having that picture of having the meet and greet with CM Punk as a kid. Punk had a meet and greet with Stone Cold Steve Austin when he was a kid. Outside of Bret Hart, I feel like that's CM Punk's Mona Lisa of wrestling. Like that's the guy that no different than Kevin Owens.
I'd love to see it. I want to see Austin back in the ring again. I wish Austin would stay at 37 years old for the rest of his life and just come and stomp mud holes and drink beer. Like, I wish the person I watched in the 90s could stay like that. I just don't think, like, I'm looking at CM Punk and I watched CM Punk versus Becky and Seth with AJ Lee, and it felt like CM Punk is not the CM Punk from 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So if CM Punk from 10 years ago doesn't feel like CM Punk from 10 years ago, is Steve Austin going to be the Steve Austin from 25 years ago? You know what I mean? So that's where
I didn't say the matches were going to be great. I'm just saying those marquees will be huge.
Oh, huge. And the Saudi fans would love it. But you and I, as analysts or wrestling creators or whatever you want to put us across as, are we going to enjoy it? Are you the build? Hold on. Before you say anything, the build we will enjoy, but will the match be DX versus the Brothers of Destruction? That's
no,
what
I don't
my
think it'll be that bad.
No, but that's what my concern is. I don't want to remember Steve Austin as that match. That's how I remember Shawn Michaels. That's how I remember Kane. You know what I mean? I don't want to remember, in my mind, the greatest of all time. And I don't believe in the GOAT, but for me, the greatest person to ever deliver sports entertainment is Steve Austin. His match against Kevin Owens was great. Like, nobody expected Steve to perform like that. I'm good with Steve there. If Steve goes against Phil Brooks, CM Punk, sure. But you better be willing to put your body and literally life on the line to do better than the Kevin Owens match, because you have such a legacy to live up to. And I don't want to see the Brock Lesnar Undertaker thing where Undertaker could barely get up and collapsing backstage. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with this. I would love to see it at 43. But I just don't think either are ready for that.
Time will tell. I don't know what else is big enough to kind of go inside with that, because to me, that's what Saudi's expecting. They want the huge marquee. I think Rock Roman is quite possibly the biggest possibility to main event night 2 of WrestleMania 43, and they will put on a great match because Rock is always in phenomenal shape. Outside of Punk Austin, I don't know what would be as big of a marquee match to main event night 1 of WrestleMania, other than going with your current talent.
Randy Brock?
No. Randy Brock. Randy lost like a pint of blood the last time those two faced off.
Point being.
I don't...
Oba Brock?
Yeah, if he's that much over at the time. They got a lot to happen in the next 2 years.
Oba's already over. Like, Oba's main roster ready. Trick is main roster ready. Storyline? No. Not even close. But imagine Oba Femi debuts somewhere within the next 18 months to 2 years, and the first thing you see is Brock Lesnar come out and try and square up against Oba, but Oba, like, Brock tries to put him up into F5 and Oba just stands still. I'm now the beast. Dude, that would be the biggest I'm gonna put you over moment that we have ever seen. Like, in my mind, the biggest moment that we've ever seen for two people getting put over is the double turn between Austin and Brett. For me, when Austin was never supposed to go over. It was just supposed to be a match, and it was a double turn. I think, hands down, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar could be that moment that would send Obafemi into the stratosphere of everything in pro wrestling. Multiple time world champion. Like, Oba has it all. He literally he could be a Paul Heyman guy. Let's be real. If Ryback could be a Paul Heyman guy, Obafemi could be a Paul Heyman guy.
And Brock Lesnar is going to need that next guy that he's going to have to really, really put over.
Yes.
Like when he beat the streak 10 years ago, it's like, who's he going to put over? Thought it was going to be Roman. That didn't end up happening. And he didn't get pinned for 3 years after that. And you know who they wasted it on? Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
Brock is being, after that match against Cena, I mean, that told both of us that they're building Brock Lesnar back up to be the beast again.
Yep.
Who's going to take him down? There's so many guys on the main roster that could, but there's nobody quite like Oba that could replace Brock Lesnar as the beast incarnate. You know, like you could give Braun Breaker a huge win, you know, hits him with like 10 spears to beat him and he took down the beast, right? Roman Reigns took down the beast. Seth Rollins is taking down the beast. None of them are like the beast. None of them are have that same intimidating factor that Brock Lesnar has.
Yeah.
If Oba gets F5'd in the middle of the ring and just stands right up, holy, what a moment.
And that's what I'm going with. Like you said, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Does Braun Breaker give you Brock Lesnar vibes? Like if you look at him, not really. He's a big dude. He's a Steiner. He's got the look of being a future world champion. But does he give you, when Brock Lesnar debuted in WWE, does he give you that, ooh, okay?
Not quite. Not quite. He's a powerhouse.
Of course he is.
He's not Brock.
He's not Brock. Obafemi? Obafemi walks into a venue. Like, I remember I just watched last week Obafemi and Rusev step in the ring with each other on a dark show. And I went, oh, yeah, give me some of that.
Yeah.
Something about Oba just says multiple time world champion. You know what I mean? So I like the idea, but I think there's more. You know what I mean? So final thoughts. Give me your final, because you've thrown me on this video. I've actually been thrown on my final decisions. So your 42 night 1, 42 night 2, and 43 night 1, 43 night 2. And I'll agree or disagree because I started with Braun Brock and now I completely disagree with it. So
Punk Rhodes night 1 for the WWE title. Roman Seth night 2 for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's WrestleMania 42.
okay.
See, and again, I'd love to see it. Even if the match doesn't live up to the hype, both guys are way past their prime, but like Punk Austin to check that off the list and say we saw that, I'd be down for it.
Yeah.
I just, at this point in time, I don't know what else could live up to the monumental expectations that Saudi Arabia WrestleMania 43 is going to have. Night 2 of WrestleMania 43, if they don't pull off Roman versus Rock, we will never see it. So to me, Roman versus Rock, that is the last attempt to put on that match. Night 2 of WrestleMania 43.
All right, so I'm going to shift. I'm going to go Cody Punk, night 1, 42. Night 2, I'm going Seth Roman for the... See, the thing is, I see Cody dropping the title before WrestleMania.
To Drew?
Yeah. I actually do. So that's where I struggle because I see Cody not being champion going into Mania. And it doesn't like Drew will be main event night 1. Like he's worked so hard for that. And we've not talked about him in this video. But I see night 2 being, now that you've said it to me, the world title and the vision being night 2. So I see it being Cody, Roman, Seth.
And McIntyre versus who? They're not going to run McIntyre Punk back.
They could.
Would we pay to see it? Yeah, but I don't think they'd run that back right now.
McIntyre Brock, that'd be a hell of a match. And that
It's got
would
legs
be
and there's
it's
the
got
story.
legs. There's the story.
Yeah.
That Drew never won the title or retained the title at WrestleMania because of COVID. So there's legs.
Yep.
So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going with Cody, Seth, Roman main event night 2 of 42. 43. I don't want Punk Austin, but they will pay him enough money to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're saying 250 million is what they're giving for WrestleMania 43. I will say 25 million go to Austin just to show up and wrestle that match. And that's an astronomical amount of money for one match. I will agree with you on that. But
Just that's 250 million before ticket sales.
Yeah. WrestleMania 43 main event will be Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns.
That's what you're going with.
Title for title.
I don't like title for title, but I like Roman Seth.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's as far as we have gone 40 minutes back and forth in circle over circle over circle with this conversation. But I'm going to say WrestleMania 43, I don't see Roman Rock. I can't. As much as they would pay for it, because here's the thing, Saudi would probably try and pay John to come out of retirement, but John is the type of person that will stick to his word. He said, This is it.
Yep.
Like, they could probably bring back Hogan from being dead before they bring Cena back. So I think we've missed Roman versus Rock, because the other part of it is Roman's contract is so close to being up at that point. And we don't know if Roman's going to sign a part-time schedule after that. And Roman dealing with his medical issues and all that kind of stuff. It just, for me, Roman Rock doesn't make sense anymore. We missed Roman Rock at 40. Or, sorry, 39. No, 40.
39, 40, and 41, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's passed us by. So. But anyways, guys, in the chat, let us know. That was a very long video. If you haven't liked, subscribe, please put the bell on for all the notifications that are straight shoot. Just a reminder, moving forward, all live streams of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and visual live streams of TNA will be on this channel and this channel alone. It will either be Jack, because I think I can convince him to do a live stream, or myself on this channel moving forward. So like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on. Jack, where can you find us? Or where can they find you? Where can they find you?
At Jack O'Hara TV. Jack O'Hara TV. Jack O'Hara TV.
We're not
that well.
We're
At
not
Jack
doing
O'Hara
that.
TV, comment, like, and subscribe. Come argue with me in the DMs.
And tell him to get a better cowboy hat, because that looked like it's from Halloween store.
Okay, I will wait over here for your.
See you tomorrow.